Every farm has a story. When it comes to dairy farming, these stories are often only heard by the animals raised, the land stewarded, and the family that makes it all possible. Join me, Dairy Gal Val, as I interview individuals from across the dairy industry, both within the United States and across the globe, discussing topics like farm management, the food industry, ag business and technology, and most importantly, their farm story. This is the Dairy Hour Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Dairy Hour Podcast. I am your host, Dairy Gal Val, and I am joined here today with Chris Watkins, a fellow New Yorker, and she has a really neat small business that we are going to talk about today called Down to Earth Jewelry. Chris, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Val?
I'm very good, thank you. So you're a little bit of a different business than we've had on the podcast prior in this small business series. But surprise, surprise, your roots started in agriculture and you have been tied to agriculture basically throughout your whole life. And the jewelry thing is just like kind of a retirement. I'm in my spare time, can't just do nothing kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. It actually started when my daughters were teenagers, and so then after they both left for college, I was like, oh, I got a lot of spare time. So it kind of ramped up from a hobby to a small business over that course of time. I'll be retired 2 years this December, so definitely has kept me a little bit busier in retirement too.
Good, because you can't retire and just do nothing. That would be
No,
boring,
no.
especially when you're born on a farm. You don't, I think that people that are born into farming, they don't know how to sit still.
I agree. I agree with you.
Yes. And if they do, then it usually means bad news for their health. So you got to keep moving.
Right.
Moving is a good thing. So
Exactly.
about how many years have you how many years has it been since you started making jewelry?
I think I started probably about 2005.
So quite a
And
while now.
yeah, and like I said, I kind of started out as um, a friend of mine. I saw her making some earrings for her daughters. I'm like, oh, I think I can do that. So I tried it. And, with two teenage daughters, of course, they wear jewelry, I wear jewelry. So um, it was good for a while. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I have a lot of product and more than any of us are going to wear. So what am I going to do with it? So then it kind of transpired into starting to do shows and things like that.
Very cool. Yes, so I know I have a pair of earrings from you that I got through listening to shout out to the Discover Ag podcast.
Yep.
I won one of their monthly giveaways and they like to feature small businesses and send out goodies from them. And I happened to get a beautiful pair of earrings that you had made. Did some research, figured out that you actually were also from New York. So
Yeah.
we started following each other on Instagram, and I just love watching your stories and seeing just some of the beautiful things that you make. And
Thank you.
it's just great to finally get to really chat with you and connect with you. So you started out, what we'll say 20 years ago, give or take, just
Right.
for all intents and purposes. Um, so did you start out? I mean, I know you use a lot of copper and turquoise at this point. Did it always Was it always like a copper and turquoise, or did it evolve
No,
into that?
it evolved into it. So when I first started, I was doing a lot of bead stringing, so flexible wire, string the beads on, you crimp the ends, put the clasp on, you're good to go. So that and some earrings. And then I started actually using a brand called Vintage Brass. And the components, the chains, everything are more like a chocolate brown color. And that just appealed to me because I like silver, I like gold, but one, they're very expensive. So it's not something you really want to. I wasn't ready to make that commitment of spending that kind of money on silver and gold. And two, it just kind of appealed to me because it was different and it was kind of earthy. And I guess I feel I'm a little earthy. So started doing that, getting, into using the chain, doing some wire wrapping. And then I couldn't even tell you when I transitioned into using the copper. I'm very fortunate. I have a friend whose husband's a contractor in the Adirondacks, and he uses copper a lot on some of his construction projects. So I get a lot of his scraps.
Oh, isn't that fun?
So
So
not
you're doing
every-
some recycling.
yeah, so not everything is made from that, but there's quite a few pieces that I do use it for. So that's kind of a nice little side thing to have, that to say I'm, recycling, upcycling. And then probably the last 3-4 years, I've really gotten into the turquoise and using a lot more of the gemstones. And I don't know, I think the copper and turquoise looks really great together. So it's a favorite of mine.
Yes, it's one of my favorite combinations too. And that's the little bit of like literal cowgirl and actual cowgirl. It's like the little bit of combination, and I'm just like, oh, turquoise. Okay, that's my favorite. Like, I'm always drawn to the turquoise, and the copper in the turquoise just looks fantastic.
It does.
I was thinking of putting them in, and I was like, we're not gonna be able to see them anyways because of my headphones. So I was like, well, all right, I guess I'm just gonna. So I'll have to make sure I upload a picture of my earrings in stories, so that everyone can see them. So I want to basically take it back years now, and I want to talk about your ag roots. So if you want to talk a little bit about, growing up on a dairy farm, talk about your experiences there.
Okay, sure. So I was born and raised on a dairy farm. I'm actually in northern New York, Lewis County. So we're kind of the edge of the Tug Hill Plateau. And if anybody's ever heard of Tug Hill, we get a ton of snow because we get lake effect snow. And then across the Black River Valley, we have the Adirondacks. So perfect spot, nice location, very, a lot of things to do there. So dairy farm stayed in the family until about 2004. I had been working off the farm. Oh, let's see. I graduated from college in 1986, and I started working for Soil and Water Conservation in Lewis County in 87, and then transferred up to Jefferson County in 2000. And so, again, my primary responsibility there was working with ag producers, primarily dairy, but all ag producers within the county. So it's kind of a passion of mine. I get really passionate about issues in agriculture, and especially in dairy, because it's just so close to my heart.
Definitely. Now, so what kind of a dairy, like, was it a smaller tie stall kind of thing?
Yep.
What kind of a dairy was it?
Yep. It was actually, it had been a old stanchion barn. I think like in the 70s, my dad was milking probably around 70 cows, which was a lot for that point in time.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot for the 70s.
And then transitioned into a tie stall, probably milked a little bit over 100 at our max capacity.
So actually not a terribly small farm for that time period. That's pretty. Were they Holsteins, Jerseys?
Yep, all Holsteins. And there might have been an occasional Jersey in there, but primarily Holsteins.
Yep. Every once in a while, you have to have a signature Jersey just popped in there somewheres, right? Extra butter fat for the tank.
Yeah.
So, do you have like a fond farm memory? Like, what was your favorite chore growing up? I know that's a funny thing to think about, but when you're raised on a farm, you always seem like you have that favorite chore that you got to do.
I think mine was raking hay. I didn't milk cows. I did, fed the calves, did things like that. But I think raking hay was the best, just because you're out. At that point in time, we didn't all have the capability. I might have had a Walkman at that point in time, but you kind of had your thoughts to yourself, and you got some sun, and how better could it be than to spend a day on the tractor?
Some peace and quiet, right?
Yes. Yep.
Good. So then you transitioned. Did you always just have an interest? Like, so how did you choose what you were going? Did you go to college?
So I went.
Like, how did you transition into that?
That's a good question. I don't know how I chose what I chose, if that makes sense.
It does.
I ended up going to Cornell and I got a degree in agronomy and plant sciences. I think I just like the plant aspect of agriculture more than the animal aspect. And even though I don't think I figured I would come back to the dairy farm, I just knew I wanted to do something, within the ag field.
Yeah, definitely. And then you went right into soil and water and
Yep.
went from there.
Yeah.
So, do you want to explain a little bit about, if someone's listening that doesn't really know about soil and water conservation, do you want to talk a little bit about like what they do for farms?
Sure. How much time do we have?
Oh, let's go for the 10,000-foot version. How's that?
I gotcha. So each county within New York State and I believe other states too has a soil and water conservation district. And a lot of times we get confused with USDA, Natural Resources Conservation Services, because most times we're co-located with them. But we are a county level entity, and our main focus is protecting the natural resources within our county. We're county led with our own board of directors, and we work with farming and communities and municipalities, and it just depends on what county you're in and what the focus is there. So obviously with both Lewis and Jefferson County, big dairy counties, so we have a really big ag environmental management program. And so when I started in Jefferson County, I became a certified nutrient management planner. So I was doing environmental planning for primarily dairy farms. We did have a few beef farms or, general livestock farms we worked with too. Worked a lot with large farms, and even in retirement, I'm still doing that. I've got a handful of farms that I'm still working with.
Just can't get away from it, can you?
No.
Farming seems to do that. It just keeps pulling you back, whether you're directly involved or indirectly involved. You just can't get away from it. That's for sure.
I would agree.
So, focusing in more on your jewelry. So you started with, beading and wiring and kind of learned it from a friend, or just saw that she was doing it and was like, oh, that can't be that hard. I guess I'll give it a shot. So I don't know. Have you seen like the Pinterest fails, like that looks like this, give it a shot? Oh gosh, that was a huge fail. Have you had any of those, or were you pretty lucky?
Probably here and there. I'm primarily self-taught, watching a lot of videos and stuff like that. I have worked with a couple people on some of my skills. My one thing I really still struggle with is soldering. So a lot of the beautiful jewelry you see out there that have, stones set within a piece, that's soldering, different from like soldering, pipes for plumbing or whatever. But I struggle with it. So I've had a few of those where I've melted things that shouldn't have been melted, or it just does not come out what I thought it would look like.
That's all I can think about is, well, if I give you a lot of credit because I am not crafty at all. So me making jewelry would end very badly. It would definitely be one of those things where you're like, that's supposed to be that. Like, oh my gosh.
The beauty of it is like some of the pieces is just basically pounding metal with a hammer. And I think all of us can do that. So, there's no set design you're always looking for. Sometimes it's like, oh, okay, I was trying for this. I got that. This will work. So I think you could do it.
I'll leave it to you. That's fine. I'm good with that. I've accepted the fact that craftiness is not really my grandmother, my mom, they're both extremely crafty. My aunt, real crafty. Me, it got lost.
Yeah.
Definitely got lost on that. I admire good crafts, but I cannot do them. So you say you do a lot on YouTube, and like as far as learning and working with a couple other people in the area. About how many shows are you going to in a year?
Oh boy, it kind of depends from year to year. Probably, 10 to a dozen. I found that there's certain shows that I do well at, I enjoy going to. And so I try to add in some new ones here and there, but, and then when COVID came, that really kind of kicked us all in the butt, but I, even though I feel I'm a little bit of an introvert, I do like going to shows and chatting with people. And probably the best thing is like seeing a repeat customer or seeing somebody walk up that's wearing my stuff. That just kind of gives me that little, boost of confidence, I guess.
Definitely, that's got to be really neat to see people enjoying your jewelry.
Right.
And do you sell online also? Like, do you have like a website?
Yep. Yep,
So
I do.
are you
Go ahead.
able to track, sorry, are you able to track like, do you know all of where your jewelry has gone to? So are
Yes.
you
I,
multinational now or
no. And
working on it?
working on it, but I did with COVID, of course, and the lack of going to in-person shows, I was very fortunate to work with our the county economic development in getting a website built because I could never build a website. It's beyond my capabilities. So a local company that was able to do that for me, they maintain it. I can do things to it, add products and stuff, but nothing too dangerous. So started doing that. Also, I created like a Facebook trunk show group. Um, did a lot more of those in those 2 years of COVID.
Mm.
Now it's maybe one or two a year, but a group of people that, so like a certain night, I'll start. I don't like doing lives. And actually, one of my first experiences with selling jewelry online was actually a live. There was a small shop lady I knew, and she's like, "Come on, I do a live all the time." And I'm like, "All right," So it was a very weird experience because we're starting, and I'm holding up the earrings and doing this and going through, and like nothing's coming up on the screen. I'm like, "Oh God, this is horrible. I'm not going to sell anything." And we're like live on Facebook. I don't know how many people were watching us, and like my phone's going off, but I'm trying to ignore it because I'm like, I'm on live. And so finally somebody called the shop we were at and said, "You're froze. Nobody, people are
Oh,
commenting," but I'm like, thank God. So
oh no.
um so that was a good dip into that pool. I don't want to go into that pool anymore. So I just do like where I post, all of my things go live at a certain time. So I do that. And I do, like I said, 2 shows a year, probably at this point in time, kind of hit those high points of the holiday season. I really need to get one planned before Christmas shopping gets into full swing here.
It's coming along so
I
fast.
know.
I saw there was Christmas stuff in the store the other day and I was like, wait a
Yep,
second. Like
yep,
it's still
exactly. I don't
still
know when
t-shirt
like
weather. We're not
where
ready for
summer went to.
this.
Yeah.
Yes. I 100% agree with you on that. This and especially September just like flew by. I'm
Yeah,
not
I agree.
not sure
I
where
agree.
that went. But yeah, so Christmas is probably more your busy season or
It is, and it depends. I think it's been kind of interesting to watch my online sales. Like I said, COVID, it seemed like everybody was spending money. I think today people are a little bit more cautious. So, trying to generate more traffic, and I try to take classes, to learn more about how to do that type of stuff. And you know how it is. There's just never enough days, or hours in the day. So I do
definitely
the
not.
best I can.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. And are you, as far as like marketing online and doing things like that? I mean, you said you had help with your website, but are you basically just teaching yourself about marketing? It's kind of a
Yep. Yep.
kind of just it is what it is. We'll learn from
Yep.
our
Yep.
mistakes and keep growing.
Jack of all trades and master of none.
Yes, yes, I feel this conversation in my core today because that's sometimes how I feel,
Yep. Yep.
um,
Exactly.
but I'm also a learn by trying kind of person and
Right.
I don't learn if you're just like, hey, do this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, but I don't necessarily comprehend until I actually do
Right.
things and figure it out.
Right. I
So,
agree.
so what kind of different pieces of jewelry do you make at this point? Just earrings? Do you experiment with some other stuff?
So earrings, necklaces, bracelets, rings. In the past, I've done like little like trinket dishes, like you could put your jewelry in. Sometimes around Christmas time, I'll do like a kind of, I don't want to say limited edition, but I'll do copper Christmas ornaments where like
Oh,
I've got like a particular scene and you can have them personalized with family name or year, whatever it may be. Um, yeah, I think that's it.
so
I mean, for
a
most,
little bit of everything
yeah,
though.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
And did you start with one particular, like what item did you start on, or did you just kind of jump into all of them at once?
I think I started with earrings, so it was just kind of, learning, how to, even then I was still using some wire, to put the pieces on and learning how to wrap them and things like that. So probably earrings, then necklaces, bracelets, probably rings has been like the latest thing that I've been doing, in the grand scheme of things.
Very good. And what's your favorite piece to do?
Um, I don't know. It, I don't think I have a favorite. Probably like earrings, I feel I can be a little more creative with.
Yeah,
And maybe necklaces too. And uh, yeah, I would say probably earrings, I think.
that seems like they would be the most creative pieces, whereas
Yeah, and
rings are kind of straightforward because it's kind of
right,
just a
right.
ring. Yeah.
Yeah,
You only
yeah,
have so much
exactly.
workspace.
Exactly.
Definitely. What do you have anything else that you want to share specifically about your jewelry?
Um,
Um,
so I do wholesale too. So like I said, most of my business has been retail. And then probably 6, 7 years ago, um, I got an invitation to a buyer day event in Saratoga. So kind of a neat way to, you have a lot of vendors there and you have a lot of buyers there. So you have stores coming in and they're giving you wholesale orders. So wasn't quite sure about it at first because when you sell when a business sells wholesale, when I sell wholesale, selling it cheaper than
yeah.
I would retail, obviously, because retail, the shop's going to charge the retail price.
Mhm.
So I wasn't really too sure about it. I got some orders, each year, got a few more orders. And then, again, COVID kind of put a tweak in everything, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And then the last few years have been really good. I've been picking up new customers, repeat customers. So I think last year I probably made 200 pairs of earrings just in wholesale. And
That's
that doesn't
cool.
include, everything else. But so it's a different mindset. But I like it. I have a set um, grouping of products that I offer. So it's kind of easy that they're easy to recreate.
Hmm.
The downside is it's not as creative as just sitting down and making something. This is a kind of a set. These are going
Yeah.
to be, tree earrings or mountain earrings or whatever. Um,
More of a repetitive kind of
right,
process. Yeah.
exactly. But even though I may make 5 pairs of the same style of earrings, they're all a little bit different because, when I do a lot of stamping with metal stamps and a hammer. So, you get a little bit different hammer strike or the patina is a little bit different. So even though they may look the same, they're all a hair different. So
They're
they're
all
all still,
unique.
yes, they're all still a little bit of one of a kind.
I like it. That's
Yep.
good. It's just like people. While you may look similar to someone, you're always unique, right?
Right, exactly.
Very cool. So in your family, do your daughters still wear your jewelry?
No.
Oh, come on.
And which they don't wear a lot of jewelry. So
Ah,
on their end of things. I've made some other small little things for them, like the Christmas ornaments and stuff like that. So they still have a little piece of me at least.
good. Good, good. Started with them and here they are, leaving you
Yep.
high and dry, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Oh well.
Kids, right? So this is the part where I like to kind of just get into some fun little questions just to get to know
Okay.
you better. So what is your dream vacation? If
Oh
you could
boy.
go on any vacation, what one would you pick?
Oh, I don't know. I think I would like to see some of the national parks, like Yellowstone and Glacier. And I think if I had to choose, that would probably be what I'd like to do.
Hot tip, Zion in Utah is beautiful.
Yeah, I have seen pictures from friends, so I've got a little bit of a bucket list going.
Yes, definitely. Um, maybe you can get one of those national parks passes and
Okay.
do a country tour, right?
Oh, that'd be cool. Yep.
We went to Zion, gosh, it was 5, 6 years ago now. My husband and I and some friends went to Zion, and I was really enjoying it. We're going up the mountain and we're going up, and then all of a sudden I did the one thing you should not do when you're on a cliff.
Oh no.
Looked down a little bit, flattened
Uh,
myself to the wall, and I was like, okay. My husband was like, so okay, are you not going up? I was like, I don't think I can go any further. And he's like,
oh
okay,
no.
well, do you want to go back down? I was like, I don't think I can go back down either. So we just kind of stood there for a second, and then I just kind of like stayed glued against the wall and just kind of shuffled my way back down. It was, yeah. So
Yeah, I
when
could.
you go in Zion, don't look down.
Okay, I will
And then
remember that.
I did all right on some of the other ones. I just didn't go all the way on like the really high ones, but
Gotcha.
the views are beautiful.
Oh, I bet. I bet. That's just,
So,
I don't know. That's just some of the things that I'm drawn to, seeing stuff like that.
yes, all those natural rocks and the natural
Oh,
formations, they
yeah.
are really very cool. So,
Yes,
good.
exactly.
I can't wait to see you go on your bucket list trip then. I'll have to stay tuned. Better get on
Definitely.
this. Get planning. Oh dear. So, being a dairy farmer's daughter,
Yes.
favorite dairy product, your go-to. It's a hard
I'd say
decision, I know.
cheese.
Cheese?
Yeah, probably ice creams, close behind, but I would say cheese.
Any specific kind of cheese, cheddar, mozzarella? Like what's your
Like a really good aged cheddar, like a 5-year-old cheddar.
Oh, like the
That's my
Cabot
thing.
5 year cheddar?
Yes, yes.
I'm a big fan of that
I'm a
one.
big Cabot fan. Yes, I have a
We appre
couple clients that are shipped to Cabot, so I
very good.
support.
We're very appreciative of your support of Cabot. But yes, that black wrapped 5 year Cabot cheddar is
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
it doesn't get much better than that. That's for sure.
Definitely. Definitely.
Agreed. Let's switch it up a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Favorite movie?
Oh, Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing, a classic.
Yeah, I'm aging myself.
No, yeah, but you'll get people of all ages that
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
a classic. So you get a lot
Yep.
of different people from that. So
Yep.
I get that. Um, favorite pizza topping besides
Uh,
cheese, because we already know that that's the best, but
Probably Italian sausage.
ooh,
Yeah. Yes.
I'm always the garlic broccoli cheese.
Mm,
That's the white pizza with the broccoli
yeah.
and the cheese. That one's been my
I
go-to lately.
I like anything on pizza other than I don't like anchovies, but I'm not too fussy, but I really like Italian sausage, I guess.
I like pizza. That's what I like now.
Yeah.
Pizza on my pizza on my pizza. Oh gosh. And your favorite hearty meal.
Hearty or hearty?
Hearty. So
Hearty.
like your
Okay.
favorite, just like your comfort, like just
Um,
favorite meal. Whether it's something that you go somewheres to get or something that you make.
Probably chili.
Chili.
Chili and cornbread. Yeah.
Some cheese on top.
Definitely. Sour cream. All
It's
of it.
almost chili season, so you're coming
I
right
know.
along here.
I
She's
know.
like, I'm just starting to get a little chilly out. Like the leaves are starting to turn up here in northern New York. She's like, it's almost time to get chilly out.
Definitely. Definitely.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So do you have anything else that you want people to know about your jewelry? You're
Um,
just such a fun like I love chatting with you. You just have I just
I
love the
just
way that you tie your jewelry back to the earth, and that it's just so the tones of it are just so beautiful.
I think the biggest thing is I think sometimes I think when people look at jewelry that's not gold or silver, they think it's cheap. And copper's like, oh, copper's going to turn you green. Oh, there's always, arguments against it. And I'm here for that. I get it. Yep. Copper will turn you green. Probably it washes off. It's not going to hurt you. And, you can make a lot of beautiful pieces with copper and turquoise and other gemstones. So I think I just encourage people to think outside the box a little bit. Wear mixed metals. I've got gold and copper on today, so do what you want to do and wear what you want to wear, and if you think something's a little bit different, then buy it. Don't feel like you have to fit into a certain norm of wearing only certain styles or certain, types of jewelry, I guess.
Life lessons.
Yeah.
Applied definitely. To jewelry. I love it. So do you want to plug where people can find you?
Oh, so I do have my website, downtooearthjewelry.mynny.biz, mynny.biz.
And I'll link that in the show notes for everybody too.
Okay, perfect. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm on Instagram, Down to Earth Jewelry New York, and I'm on Facebook. I think I'm just Down to Earth Jewelry on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I don't do a ton on TikTok, but I think I'm Down to Earth Jewelry on there too. New York.
I'm on there. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm on there.
I just go to scroll for the most part. So, but I try to put some, process videos on there and things like that when I have time.
Awesome. I'm going to have to look those up because I'm fascinated by just how you're like, yep, I get the stamp and I hammer and I do this. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You don't get the background noise of me swearing when I mess it up and,
Get my finger. There's a few curse words. It's exactly. Fine. It's all good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's most farmers too, when you're doing something and you, got your finger.
Yep, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly. That's
awesome.
For sure.
So everyone, this episode is coming out, obviously, perfect time to go shop for Christmas. Everyone go check out Chris's website and social media, do some Christmas shopping. Small businesses, support our small businesses. It's really important. And especially one that's so tied to the earth and agriculture, because obviously agriculture is part of the earth. So
exactly.
It all wraps together. Chris, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks, have had so much fun chatting with you. And
you too.
I will link all of your stuff in the show notes for everyone to find easily.
Okay.
Again, if you guys like this podcast, please leave us a review, share with your friends, tag us on social media, and we will see you next week. Thanks, you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Please be sure to subscribe to be notified of future episodes and leave a review. You can find me on most social media platforms at Dairy Gal Val or online at dairygalval.com. Thank you so much for coming to the Dairy Hour.